Mike.
I'll try this again. Call order the town board meeting at the Town of Lisbon Town Hall on Monday, May 23rd, 2022 at 6:31 PM. Roll call, please.
Chairman Osterman,
Here.
Supervisor Quinn. Here. Supervisor Beal. Here. Supervisor Moonen.
Here.
Supervisor Flotecker. Here. Administrator Nicholas.
Here.
And Clerk Capazzo to record the minutes.
Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3 is comments from citizens present. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
All right, we have no one in attendance. Item 4 is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a town board member requested an item be removed. We have the May 9th, 2022 town board minutes, the reappointment of Paul Normington and Donette Mayrack to the Park Committee for 3-year terms ending 6/30/2025. Appointment of Jeanette Kerr to Parks Committee for 3-year term ending 6/30/2025. Authorize the termination of letter of credit for the Haas Farms. Authorize $450,564 letter of credit reduction for Bark River Preserve for a new balance of $967,254. And reapprove resolution 2022-17 regarding reporting units to correct typos. Any questions or comments on any of them, or is there a motion on the entire consent agenda?
I make a motion. Are you going to change something?
I was gonna just ask for clarification on one thing.
Go ahead.
On item F, is it 2022-17?
Yes.
Or 2021-17?
2021-17, you're correct.
That was my only question.
Okay,
What does it mean, reporting units to correct typo? Reporting units.
Reporting units are how we report results. Reporting units cannot cross county supervisor boundaries. They cannot cross state legislative boundaries. But if you have multiple wards at a polling place where everything matches up, they can report together. So instead of sending 3 reports to the county, they'll only send 2. So it's just how things are reported.
Okay. As long as you understand it.
all right. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda with the change to F as written.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
By Linda, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, accounts payable. Authorizing the payment of the Falls Auto Parts bill in the amount of $170.44. Is there a motion on that check register?
I'll make a motion we approve the payment to Falls Auto Parts bill in the amount stated.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, second by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I did not say aye, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying it for opposed. Motion passes 4-0. I abstain. Item B, authorizing the payment of the remaining bills in the amount of $237,725.37.
Our top 5 expenses are waste management, $67,252.72. Waukesha County Treasurer, $63,773.95. Kunkel Engineering, $42,977. Village of Sussex, $10,000. U.S. Bank Corp. Payment System, $8,412.13.
Any questions or comments, or is there a motion on this check register?
On page 3, under Kunkel Engineering, it says S. Please tell me what that is for. There's a couple of them there. Which one?
Engineering Consultant S,
Yes. What's S stand for?
sewer, I'm assuming, is it
Oh.
stormwater? I mean,
Stormwater?
The stormwater?
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, ask.
Ask for your approval.
Right. Any other questions or comments?
Mm.
Is there a motion?
I can make a motion to approve the remaining bill in the amount of $237,725.30.
Motion by Mark to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Linda. Any final discussion?
Mm-mm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. The joint public hearings and plan commission meeting on Thursday, 6/2/2022 at 6:30 PM at the Richard Young Fire Station. The border review is on June 8th at 6 PM at the Richard Young Fire Station. So that is changed now. So that's at Richard Young. So everybody's knows that.
No, which one is that, Richard Young? The border review, isn't it?
Border review, yep.
Mhm.
Normally we have it here, but it'll be over there. And with the town board meeting on Monday, June 13th at 6:30 at the town hall. Sanitary Sewer District #1 meeting, the 15th at 6:30 at the town hall. And the next park committee meeting will be the 20th at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. Any
Mhm.
other announcements or correspondence?
I do. On Monday, the 13th at 6 o'clock, we'll have a special plan commission meeting here at Town Board.
Regarding,
It's a site plan of operation for the north building. They'll be announced, and that documentation will announce who the tenant is. So we'll put it in the tenant's name. And then the DA for the developers agreement for the south building.
okay,
So both of those things we need to get done. But we couldn't get them on the plan commission meeting, the normal plan commission meeting. And we need to get them done so we can close in the month of June on the properties.
okay, thank you.
Just one thing to note for the joint public hearings and plan commission meeting next Thursday, the 2nd. We do need one additional town board member to attend in order to form a public hearing quorum.
Okay. Can I
Anybody?
just say in the past, Paula? Doug and I have always flip-flopped who goes to these meetings. Because he's got 3 kids under 2.
And there, so I'm totally on board with.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
doing that.
No, did you go this last meeting?
No.
No, then why don't you go to the next one? And then, okay. All right, we'll do that then.
So Paula,
You're
you'll be
welcome.
on the 2nd.
Thursday, 6:30 at the Richmond Fire Station.
Yes,
Yes, please.
I will do that.
great.
And you only have to stay for the public hearings, not the
Mhm.
whole meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're not.
Usually not. Just the way of things.
Yeah.
All right. Any other announcements or correspondence? All right, item 7, administrator report.
So worked on the incorporation documents and we have sent the copy to the state, made the copies of the report for all of you and for our attorney. I worked on the DA for the south parcel, Lisbon South parcel for Vermeer. That's part of the 24 acre. And we'll be bringing that forward on the 13th, Plan Commission, Special Plan Commission. I was at the pre-construction meeting for the water loop extension at Hamilton High School. And that project's to start in June and finish early July, trying to get around the summer schools schedule. Met with Blaze Construction on their additional submission for the June Plan Commission meeting, attended the meeting with TDC and Brian on the Lisbon North Building discussing permitting. That meeting also was with our fire marshal as well as our building inspector. And then held check-in meetings with all our department heads. I started that this year. Every quarter I meet, or every 2 months I meet with the department heads, kind of go over what they're working on and anything I can help them with. And so we kind of go through things. I do that every 2 months. We received a $25 donation from Snowbugs for the use of the trail, but they never got out once this year. They never opened the trails once this year, but that's their regular donation.
Well, thank them.
And then I met with Jim Forrester on the commercial property. He was interested in purchasing. The clerk prepared for the 2022 election cycle, ran a recount and tie-breaking drawdown, continued training of the new deputy clerk, Jasmine. The Highway Department took down seasonal weight limit signs, placed gravel in the new compost site, and started brush pickup. Parks Division took delivery and put into service a new 1-ton pickup truck, prep for the extravaganza in April, and conducted a free tree pickup for Arbor Day at Community Park. The DPW director conducted monthly public works, the county meeting of all our public work people, and then attended town board, parks, and annual meetings. Worked with contractors for pricing of the DPW Fire Station #1 maintenance projects, and assisted in brush pickup. Fire, there was 1 fire call in April, 38 medical calls, 6 ALS intercepts, 27 interfacility transports, and 3 vehicle accidents. We received 1 mutual aid and gave 18 and did mutual aid 18 times. We currently have 6 members attending advanced education. 3 members are working on their paramedic certificate. That's my report.
All right, any questions or comments? Thank you, Kathy. Item 8, incorporation update.
As I mentioned, we put in our submittal on May 16th, and that means that the 180 days they have to review will bring us, we should see our return November 12th. I've changed the timeline, so we are looking at a referendum, if everything goes through, on January 10th, which will give us enough time to have a new village board election on the regularly scheduled April 4th election. That's all I have.
All right. Any questions on that?
I know last time we had to have a hearing, does someone have to request that?
They are going to do a public hearing, no matter what. I spoke with Eric this afternoon, and he said they're going to do a public hearing, and he was going to get with me on timing to get something together. Should be shortly. I should hear in the next week or so when the public hearing would be. They have also then 3 or 4 meetings with the incorporation board members, and those meetings will be Stan, the planner, and Christy and I will be at those as well. So we can give input on those. But that's the process. It takes so long to get through that whole process.
Are we going to start off with 5 members on the new village board, or do we go to 7?
I think that's a discussion that the board
Oh,
will be able to,
This board?
work on.
Mhm.
Yes,
okay.
because we'll have to know what the charter ordinance is going to be in
Okay.
place, and then and how many people have to run for office.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, Lisbon economic conditions update.
The only thing I have on here is I never thought about the increase that the gas is going to do on our weed control. So when we have to take care of the weeds, we're going to have to make sure that the fees cover the costs of our gases.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Any questions on that? All right, item 10, supervisor reports. Does anyone have anything to report?
I do. So I was at the last parks meeting and kind of put it out there that there's some money available. I didn't mention how much, but just for them to kind of give us an idea of what kind of priorities they would have or what they would want to see possibly for us to fund. And these are things I think we've all talked about before. Probably the first thing that's close to everybody's heart is the John Greet Memorial sign. They're about $2,000 short on being able to install that. So that was kind of their first ask, maybe to see if we could do that piece.
Excuse me, where would that be at?
The main park.
Yeah, the main part.
At the community center, and it's going to be by the prairie. So they want to name the prairie.
Okay.
after-
Oh, they're not putting it by the waterfall?
Oh, maybe it's by the waterfall.
I
It
don't,
was one of those two.
I'm not sure of the location. They had a schematic and they had a a sample of what it would look like.
I should say waterfall, water feature.
Yeah, water feature. The
Anyway,
fountain.
they're about 2,000 short on that. So that was their first ask. Then the baseball project, and I'm just calling it the overall baseball project with the $30,000 that's coming in from the SLYB group. So what I asked them to do was to give us 3 sets of numbers, one on kind of bare bones, what would need to happen kind of in a first stage, kind of a mediocre set of numbers on, as much as we could get done, and then what the whole thing would cost. And I said I would bring that here and talk to you guys about that, just to, but they don't have any firm numbers on anything yet, unfortunately, so we'll have to wait on that. They also have a double-sided sign they want to put at the Lisbon Community Park, which is a $6,800 sign that they're looking for funding on that. I know it's an expensive one. But that's another one of their asks. So those are the 3 big ones right now. So that's just for consideration for us. And as we get more specific bid information, I'll send that in an email to everybody, or do I present that here? I'm not really sure what the process is.
I think you send it to Kathy.
You can
and
send it
she-
to me and I can put it in
Okay.
there.
She sends it to us.
Got it.
You can't.
Yeah, I apologize, just a reminder that you can't communicate with more than one person about any
Unless we're here.
project unless
Right.
you're here in
Right.
open session.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Now, are you expecting these numbers from them directly then, or did they give those to me and I would hand them to you, or they just have them send that directly?
Usually
to you?
Mike would usually give me the
Okay.
numbers, but if they give them to you, you can always send them to me just in case they
So-
didn't.
I will
And-
send them directly to you then.
It'll be one thing, so a project of this magnitude is gonna need engineers to actually figure it out more than likely. Cause I'm sure we'll have some stormwater potential, with depending on what they'd be looking for. And they don't have a budget to spend money on that, so this will probably end up being a discussion right here at the board level, most
Mhm.
likely.
Right.
He said they have a company that's working on a grading
Grading
estimate
plan.
right now, yeah.
Okay. It all depends what's being looked at, cause some of that stuff, I mean, just a fence is one thing, but if it gets to be big,
Absolutely.
perfect, thank you.
That was it, yep.
All right, anyone have anything else to report? All right, item 11, new business, A, discussion and necessary action regarding operator's license application for Christian Vanderhorst.
You should have in your packets the request for consideration as well as the memorandum from Captain Panis at the Sheriff's Department. The original and secondary applications from the applicant, and then the related sections of the Wisconsin statutes on this. Applicant's record shows 5 municipal and misdemeanor convictions between 2009 and 2014, with no further incidents since that time. Applicant has no felonies on his record, is not subject to arrest record exceptions under the Fair Employment Laws, and he is not considered a habitual offender due to the length of time that has passed.
All right. Any questions or comments?
Do we have anything in the town that we've done this, that they've had, like they had issues years ago and then we hired them or let them be hired? Have we had that before?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and it's worked out okay? Mhm. Okay.
What was the, you put a note on the initial May 6th letter, dated 5/9. He apologized and said he misread the questions on the application and the reply.
Oh.
Explain what was misinterpreted on his part.
So if you look at the first page of the application, the first question listed number 1 is talking about activities performed while bartending. The second question is involving alcoholic beverages. He thought that meant while bartending. So he misread that question. He answered it no, which is why he was initially denied. That's what that letter was. When he received the letter, he called. I said, well, you were denied for incomplete or inaccurate information on your application. He's like, oh, yeah, I didn't read that right. What do I do? I said, you reapply. And then we write it up and town board makes a decision on. Okay, I'll be right in.
Who's had a clean record? Bless you, my goodness. Who's had a clean record since 14,
Mhm.
8 years. And no other tickets in the meantime.
None.
Anybody have anything for you, Paula?
I have no qualms with granting him this.
Me neither.
Mark? Neither. Someone wish to make a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we grant. I make a motion to approve the issuance of an operator's license to Christian Vanderpool for the period 7/1/22 through 6/30/23.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Becky, second by Paula. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item B, discussion and necessary action regarding attachment of territory from Village of Sussex in accordance with section 66.0307 agreement.
So we have 3 ordinances in front of you. This one is for the attachment of the 2 parcels that we are bringing over from the Village of Sussex. And it was part of our border agreement that was approved. This is the next process required by statute to go through. So we approve these 3 today, and they approve the same attachments and detachments tomorrow.
So this would be ordinance 2022-06. Any questions or comments on this? I'll make a motion then to approve ordinance number 2022-06.
Second.
Second by Mark. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item C, discussion and necessary action regarding detachment of territory to Village of Sussex in accordance with section 660307 agreement.
I don't have anything further to say on this.
So this would be detaching
All
the
our
properties
parcels
per the
per
agreement.
the agreement.
Any questions or comments, or is there a motion? on this?
These are kind of the properties that are kind of little islands.
Some of
Yes.
them are, some of them aren't islands, but yeah, it's everything that was left to go, pretty much, we have one extra parcel over on Richmond Road. And then there were 2 that were on 164 that were not, ones that were not in the original border
Right.
agreement back
Yeah,
in
the Nagy Farm.
2001, the Nagy Farm essentially, and then there were 2 that were missed
Right,
back
were
in the
missed.
original agreement that were islands that were on 164.
yes.
Yeah,
This is the 63 properties, correct?
I don't know the number, but yeah, it's,
About there. Mhm. Okay.
but they're all listed on the descriptions and the maps,
Mhm.
so
Very thorough.
this one needs to be
Yeah.
Yes.
to the T. So this would be ordinance number 2022-07.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 22 dash.
Is there a second? Second by Linda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item, actually, I'm gonna just go right to item E, just get these all out of the way.
Very good.
So this is, item E is discussion and necessary action regarding attachment and detachment of road right-of-ways to and from Village of Sussex in accordance with section 660307 agreement.
So this cleans up. I did walk through these before we went through the, we finalized our 307 and got that to DOA. I did have our DPW director go through and make sure that those made sense, you know, so. These are the road right-of-ways that go back and forth between us.
Doesn't create any islands, just
Doesn't,
keeps
no.
everything perfect and smooth and. So this is just the third part of this.
Right.
This is ordinance 2022-08. Any questions or comments on this one? Is there a motion on this?
I make a motion, we accept ordinance number 2022-08.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Paula? Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Item D, discussion and necessary action regarding land and residents' possible use of the Lisbon compost site.
So in the past, well, Lisbon residents have inquired about purchasing compost passes. Our residents pay $18 per pass. The village and town of Merton, they both, they charge their residents $25, but return $20 to us. And then they also pay $1,000 to Payne and Dolan for the use of the property. We'd like to offer the few land and residents that are interested in using the compost site, the ability to purchase a pass, but we need to have some costs put in place in order to do that. My suggestion would be, and anybody can change this, but if we charge the land and residents, they would purchase the pass through us at a cost of $36. We would retain the $20 like we do for all our other people that are using it. And then $16 would be split between the two Mertons due to the fact that they're also paying the $1,000 fee to you,
They pay a portion of the hourly.
and they pay the hour, right?
So this came up when we were in the middle of trying to do a board agreement with Lannon. It's just kind of a positive thing to, because they were helping us to do this. We really didn't have anybody, I think one person asked back in the day. We actually had brought it to the board at one time to pass, I believe it was passed, but it was 1 year, COVID hit, nobody talked about it again.
How many, just curious, how many Merton residents usually buy tickets or buy passes?
Over 1,000.
1,000?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but Lannon would not be paying the $1,000 to,
No, because they might only have 1 or 2 people that are interested in using it, so.
so we're kind of
If,
see,
if this were to grow, like I could say 900 people from Lannon decided to do it, we'd have to look at this
Right.
differently, but I think you're gonna have 4 or 5.
okay.
I looked into it. I didn't see anything.
One.
Yeah.
One person from my, what do they do now? Nothing.
Yeah, one person, but it sounds like they didn't know.
Oh. Okay. So again, the Lannon residents, they pay 36,
Right.
Right.
but then the 16 is split between the village and the
To
town. of Merton.
refund Merton, town of Merton and village of Merton for a portion of what they're paying for hourly rate.
So Lannon doesn't pay anything to us for an hourly rate?
Not if they're only gonna have 5 people.
Not what, I see history. Do they know that? Will you tell them that? Okay.
I already had talked to Don. That's their village president about this, because originally it was Tom Goodex who had talked to us about this, and we sat down and we figured this out years ago.
Okay,
And we knew it wasn't gonna be many, but we wanted to just put that olive branch out there. And
Sure.
Merton's been very, I mean, excuse me, Lannon's been very good to us.
yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
They would come here and buy, because it's only a few. So,
Is that facility on Plainview?
yes,
You think they would say anything because we only charge, well, but they have to know the history, I guess,
right.
because we only charge Merton 25.
But we charge, well, the Mertens they do the passes themselves, and then they send us $20.
Right,
And the difference, though, is they also get a bill from us for our compost hours, and they pay for our employees that are there as
oh,
well.
good, okay,
So
all right,
this is just to kind of repay them, and we're gonna take it right off their invoice if any Lannon people were to purchase.
okay, perfect, thank you.
So this would be open to all Lannon residents.
But Is the $1,000 aside from the bill that they get,
Yes.
so in addition to the service fee, we'll call it, they can get a $1,000 bill each municipality or collectively?
We do not give them a bill. They pay Payne Dolan directly.
It's 500
No, $1,000.
each.
The town and the village, you mean?
Yep.
They each pay 1,000?
Yep, to Payne and Dolan for the composting.
Hmm,
And then
okay.
they get a bill from us for their hourly, a portion of the hourly employees that are there. That's
Okay.
what the,
And there's quite a bit of capacity, I'm assuming, with the composting.
Oh, it's great now.
Just opening it up.
Oh, what beautiful.
yeah, Merton shall pay Payne and
Really
Dolan
busy.
directly by April 9th of each year, $1,000 annual renter's fee.
Okay.
And when I spoke with Merton, they said, yeah, I already paid that bill. I was just asking a question, a different question. So,
I make a motion to approve the sale of compost passes to Landon residents at the cost of $36. Split the fee between the 3 municipalities. as another department.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
so just so you're aware, I don't have anything for closed session. So all we're doing is ARPA work.
Okay. 12A unfinished business, discussion necessary action regarding possible American Rescue Plan Act expenditures.
Right, so in front of you, I have a little spreadsheet. I put just a little something I put together that might help put some numbers together for us. So one of the things the fire department asked for was the grass truck. You remember the grass truck has been pushed down the road a while now, and they did get a new cost for the Chevy vehicle. A new quote for the, so it would end up coming up to $81,213 for the truck, the pressure pump, the equipment, and then graphics and lights. That is one of the possibilities. And the last page of the packet that has the truck on it. This one. So this is the packet that has all the information on the truck. The very last page, Michelle sent me an email about their turnout gear. If you remember, we put in turnout gear, and we were thinking of doing turnout gear every year so then it all doesn't go bad in one year, that we just continually buy like 5 of them every year. And so she stated that maybe another 16.5 would get them some more turnout gear. And then she did want to bring to your attention equipment maintenance, and that was something that I mentioned last time in our budget this year. She's already over budget on her equipment maintenance, although not, and that's just the line item. But they are looking at a possible transmission change in their tender at about 10 grand. So she wanted to bring that to your attention as well. So that was fire. That's the information I got from fire. Then DPW gave us some possible considerations. 1-page document, roads are on the back. So the John Deere roadside mower, that was something we pushed down the road at the last capital budget discussion. And so that comes out to $140,000. The salt shed that was approved, the portion that was approved for this, we're going out to bid for that. And we're looking at getting the wood this year. The construction cost comes to $55,000. And we have, with this year's $50,000, we'll have in the sinking fund 495,000, which leaves 60,000 for the salt shed. He's asking for doors for the highway building. That comes out to about $38,000. And then on the back side of that paper is a 5-year road plan, which you asked be put together. And he has about $3 million in road work over the next, it's a 5-year project. So we're not doing anything in 22, but in 23, he's got $746,000. And then you can read on different subdivisions. So then in parks, they requested doors to their building, $40,000, a furnace replacement, which is $12,000, some exterior doors, which is $10,000, Memorial Park Playground, which is $200,000. We talked about pickleball court at Memorial Park. It's about $15,000 to $20,000. I spoke with Lisbon Oaks. We have a person that their daughter had passed, and they have been fundraising, trying to get a basketball court in Lisbon Oaks. And they've been working with Mike on where it could go and such. They've come up with about $15,000, but they figure the project's going to be about a $30,000 project. And they are still doing fundraising. We're going to put something in the newsletter, and then they are going to have a table at the community festival as well, trying to get some more donations. But I suggested a share cost of $15,000. Wasn't sure about the baseball diamond, but Paula gave some update on that. And then for administration, we talked about the village hall at the last meeting. Lisa and I talked about scanning our documents. We have a lot of documents that could be large documents, and other scanning that could be done. About a $50,000 project. We do not have quotes on that. We're figuring that's about what it's going to cost us. We can bring in all our documents that are from the fire department that are currently being stored there. And if in the future we do move toward a new village hall, it would be nice to not have to move all the property files and having them all electronic.
Weren't we doing that with Laserfish?
We are. It's not the laser, it's actually the scanning, the big documents that have to be scanned in. All our subdivisions and all of those things be scanned in. And then we talked a little bit about employee performance dollars, and I haven't really worked out a way, but the only thing I could think of to make it comparable for each employee that worked between March of 2020 and May of 21, it's about 15 months. I thought that might be considered COVID time. And then if you took the number of hours each person worked by their hourly and then take a percentage of that, that might be a way to. So if somebody worked in compost, 80 hours, it would take their hourly plus their hours into consideration compared to somebody that worked full-time, 2,400 hours in the 15 months. It's a big difference. Same with our poll workers or our fire department paid on call people. They were out there working, and the ones that were actually going on calls, their hours would be shown. So that was a thought. The other thing was, if we did a salary study, that would be about $15,000. I did talk to Jeremy about, when's the last time they did a salary study. They do studies every 4 years, but they do them in-house. And so they've gathered a lot of the information around the surrounding 9 communities, like size communities, to get numbers for all of their people, instead of spending the $15,000 on a salary study. They put that money toward employees. And then if you gave everyone across the board a raise of 3%, that we're in that March to May area, that you're 40,000, 49,000. Those were, you wanted me to bring back some numbers, so I'll open for discussion. Is there anything on here you like, or that you thought might be a good place to use our ARPA money?
Who wants to start?
I can start. Let's start with our employees. I don't need to say much more. I said what I needed to say last meeting, but either way, if it's a 3% wage increase, that's a budgetary impact of $49,000 out of this. That'd be something I think we could sustain moving forward, as well as a smart use of the ARPA funds to start off.
So are you saying, in your estimation, you want to give them a 3% raise at the end of the year instead of 2, but still give them a bonus for their hours that they work?
This is more of a retroactive thing. This is for that period that was just defined, March 20th through May 21st. That has a specific purpose. Then anybody that was working between those hours would be eligible for it.
And we've talked before, I think, a 3% raise, a one-time 3% raise instead of 2 is fine. I don't know they work hard. We can just say, well, because you work so hard for us, we appreciate it. But I'm against giving them like a bonus now to do this. We all have jobs. We all worked. We haven't laid anybody off, and while we appreciate everybody, I think it should be one or the other, not absolutely both, in my opinion.
What do you mean, both?
Well, you're saying a 3% raise plus this 15 months period. Is that what you're saying? I just asked.
Anybody that was working in the 15-month period
Would get the raise.
would be eligible for it.
The
For what, that
retroactive
3%
I mean,
raise?
I don't want to split hairs over somebody who was working here since 1995 and worked through their entire 15-month period,
Sure.
or anybody who started
Well, sure.
February 2021 and worked.
So I'm still confused. Which option are you saying?
3% on annual wages.
Down or
At the end of the year?
It would, whenever we put it into effect. We haven't set a date to start it. I guess.
So you're saying a 3%, maybe say if you think now, plus a 2% at the end of the year?
That's for the end of the year. to decide.
I thought we were just adding 1% at the end of the year.
So if somebody got a raise in December, right now, with the cost of CPI and inflation and all that, their money is worth 3% less, just so you know.
All of ours is.
Yeah.
All of ours is. Go to the
Right.
gas station.
But we're the employers.
Yeah, I understand.
So the wages we gave them in December are now worth 3% because it's 6, if you figure 6%, if it's an actual annual basis, I think it was a lot more in December, January, February, March than the 3%. But I mean, if you just split it up, it would be about 3%.
So you're saying the 3%,
It just gets them updated with COLA.
okay, so the 3%, because you've got it down here twice, Kathy, that's what I'm
Yeah, I was
questioning.
giving some options. You just asked me for options. These are all
Okay.
different options.
Oh, I know
so-
that, but I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say, Mark. And I don't know if you ladies have you got it set? I'm
think-
not sure. So if it's 49,000, is that what you're saying, what it is from March 20th to May 21st?
No. Anybody working in that window is eligible for it. Like Kathy listed here, 1/6 to 22 is the date.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So the 15-month range is the eligibility period. Who could be eligible? Because obviously, we're gonna have employees that are no longer with us,
mhm.
or who start June
Right.
1st of 2022.
So you're saying that I understand the 15-month period. They get something now, whatever that might be.
So it would be if, so what he's talking about is doing for the people that work during that time, that were employed here during that time, we would go back on their salary
And
and
give
do
them a 3%,
retroactively
3% bonus?
and give them a no, not a bonus, just a 3% increase in their salary across the board for everybody that worked during that time.
So that continuously stays on their, so in, say in January, like we normally do, give them a 2%. So that 2% is actually based, it's going to be higher because we've got the 3% already. So it's going to be an annual thing, correct?
It would be part of their base salary.
If we gave them a
correct.
3% increase, it would be 3%. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not taking it back next year, because that would
Right.
be a bonus.
I personally think that's high. That's my personal opinion. 3% is high. I think there's other things that the town needs to do that we're in, you know, that the town people would like to see.
Mhm.
And I'm not against giving them something. I just think 49,000 is a lot. You know, because we're almost halfway through the year. And I just think, you know, our parks are, you know, everything else needs, and the taxpayers want to see all these improvements. So that's how I feel.
What kind of impact would there be if we just did the, you know, the percentage of their salary instead of the raise?
I didn't have the hours to do that, to figure that number out.
I think that would be a nice.
It would be a WRS to find out their hours.
To try to go back and to look at, yeah. that.
And how many employees are we talking about?
It's
A good, most of ours.
So how many is that roughly?
One sec.
We have it.
1 second.
Was that all, that was eligible people, or is this just all?
That's all.
It's 123, I don't know how many of them will be eligible.
This is only from January till now, correct?
Right, these are
So
the people-
technically, it's a $100,000 impact for the year.
No, it was, all I did was take their salary and because, and my salary, the salary's in there for the year.
So
So-
to do like 49, to do a 3% increase across the board for the entire year is
For-
49,000,
I think that's an awful
not
lot.
including, that's not including FICA and all the others.
It's just,
That's good.
Becky?
I guess I don't, so you would give them, and I am in favor of giving our employees a raise. They work hard, but, so you're saying that if we decide that this is effective as of January, then you would make up you would give them, you would make up that money?
You
And
would,
then they would go on from here at that
New
3%
rate.
increase.
yeah, they would essentially get a retroactive
Mhm.
fund check. And then starting January 6th of 2022 would be their new wage. So we'll just dial it back 5 months and we'll start from there. So obviously we have to make up.
Okay, so this would be in.
They're getting a pay raise as of January 6th retroactive.
They'll get a makeup
right,
check.
But
So-
this is in addition to the 2% they got.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm in favor of that. I think that- All right, I will tell you, I think maybe we should get the salt shed done. I think that we should do the baseball diamond expansion here. I think we should do the employees. The rest of this stuff, they should just bring at budget time. Oh, and
We could-
maybe, how much, oh, we have a lot of money, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe we should do
1.1 million.
the playground equipment here.
I definitely agree with the employee end of this. I know
I
you don't,
agree
Linda,
with-
but you haven't had, you must not have had an employee that you've ever lost.
But no, I'm just saying, you can give them a bonus, but I think,
You
I
said no
think a
bonus.
3%, that's not a bonus. The 3% incentive.
But if you give them 3% now, you're basically paying them the same as what you paid them in December. I'm trying to do this at work right now to try and bring employee wages up because I can't afford to lose people. We haven't, we luckily have some very good people right now,
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean somebody else isn't gonna figure that out and come after them.
yeah.
And if
I
you don't
just-
show that you value your employees,
I'm not saying not show them. I just happen to think 3% is a lot to do now. And then
But-
we gave them a
What-
2%
what
last
hap-
and then 2% this coming year.
but what
Um,
happens but 2% was from last year to this year.
Correct.
And now with the CPI has gone up, I mean, a lot.
Right.
And it's gonna keep going up. It's not gonna, it's not
Well,
showing areas
yeah.
to stop.
Exactly. I agree with you. I'm, in my business,
But they're
I'm
mak-
kind of lost out. So I'm kind of on the other end.
But you work, the harder you work, the more you make.
Not necessarily in today's business.
But
Mm-hmm.
CPI doesn't necessarily come, it's adjusted with home prices for you. The way you work is totally different than the way we work.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying the very few,
It's not a per hour
yeah,
basis.
I could go
where these
into a real
people
thing
are.
about my business, but
Yeah, I mean, and for me, with cost of goods going up, you hope that makes it up. so
Well,
they
and
can
we're
pay
all
people
paying
more
for,
too,
we're
but-
all paying for it. Absolutely. We're all paying for what's
Mhm.
going on. Everything, groceries, everything.
But what happens when Pewaukee starts looking at our, and I'm just using them as an example, I'm not saying Pewaukee's gonna do this, just so in case Pewaukee's watching. But let's say Pewaukee starts eyeing up Natasha,
Mhm,
and they say, oh, wait, we wanna go after her.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden they look at Jasmine, and then they look at Lisa, and then Lisa, and then Kathy.
mhm,
What then? Or Joe DeStefano, or the
Mhm.
highway workers, or we're already having a hard time retaining fire department personnel.
mhm.
I want these people to know we're looking at these things.
I
and
know,
we
but
wanna-
I just said I'm not against an incentive. I'm against the 3%. I think that's too much.
That's
Really,
that's
When
CPI.
you look at it, that's not a lot of money.
Okay.
Does that bring us in line with the other towns where?
It depends.
Probably not.
I think, yeah, I guess I'll go with, yeah, it depends. Some people, some positions, I hate these words, positions are appropriately funded, some may be low, some may be high. I don't know, that's why I recommended the salary study too. Is
Mhm.
we could use the money going forward to see if this is a good alignment. The alignment and taking care of our people right now are two different things for me. If we do the salary study, that's more of a short-term 5-year projection that we could, I guess, understand when we're budgeting at the end of the year. But the 3%, I think, is a very minimal investment in our people. And Linda, I know we talked and it was, you said about the taxpayers' money. There's nothing more important to a taxpayer than receiving quality service.
I agree.
So I'll just use DPW for example. If we have to stretch a plow truck an extra year to give them more money, it makes sense to give them more money because they're the ones who drive the plow trucks. They're the ones who might take that extra time to make sure that the roads are a little bit neater in front of somebody's driveway. Essentially gives us tax money.
Again, I'm not against an incentive. I'm against, what I've said. So, and that's just how I feel.
I know, but it's
I've thought about it a great deal.
right. And I'm only saying, if we give a 3% raise, we're investing in our people. It's way harder, as we know, to train people to replace people. If we can retain people, if we have an overall young staff, why not keep them happy and healthy and keep them here? 3% on a wage is way cheaper than paying any kind of benefit increase.
So, but again, it also adds to their salary. So at the end of the year, we're also paying more at the end of the year on that 3%.
Sure, but we might be paying less in overall operating costs.
And $50,000 a year, we're talking about $1,500 here.
Mhm.
We aren't talking about 5,000, 6,000, or 7. We're talking about $1,500
Mhm.
for $50,000.
Mhm.
Now, this would not affect like Jasmine or Lisa because they,
Already have,
Because they weren't working then.
they weren't working then. And then because of the adjustment in hiring, we hired them at a little higher level because of the cost of living already.
CPI isn't really affecting them because they just started.
Right, exactly. It's
Right,
the ones
where-
that have been here.
I mean, otherwise, we're gonna be looking at budget time and my goodness, I mean, what are you gonna do at budget time? Give them 2%?
But look,
COLA's
look,
up 8%, you're gonna give them 2%?
Do
That's a
they
6%
think that-
decrease?
those new guys though, and is there gonna be a disparity between the older fellows that have been here longer, they get the 3%, and the newer guys didn't? But someday are you gonna wanna raise
There's only
those
two,
to what?
there's only two people, I think. Maybe
Yeah,
a
I
few in the
think
fire
there's- Yeah, I
department.
think there's,
I mean,
there might be like.
I think it's a highway department that's more,
Well, the highway hired George. We hired George and Randy last year. Just, I'm not sure of their dates because they weren't in the system. Their hire dates. And I didn't have time to go through all of those personnel files. to find Information. But so we might have 4 or 6 people that would not get it. Because we have 2 new firemen, but fire people, but they are.
yeah, they're-
But they've been working as POCs before that, so they've been on. So our fire department, 2 new full-time people, they've been working as POCs, so their start date is 2003.
and it also affects Michelle and,
there's
Yeah.
4 people.
yeah, okay.
I think Randy, George, they both started in 21.
Lisbon Oaks basketball
Mhm.
court, not court.
Yeah, sorry, it's court, sorry.
They're doing private funding, but where are they going? I mean, they have to come and ask.
To put it in,
permission, right?
right. They've been working with
Put
the
this
parks,
in?
they've been working with the Parks Committee and with Mike on finding a spot in Lisbon Oaks. And
Is Lisbon Oaks the one who had so many problems with vandalism? Is that Lisbon Oaks?
That's the one that's embedded inside of,
a subdivision.
Thousand Oaks.
And maybe I would put this basketball court in because that also, that would be something for the community.
And that would be our first basketball court. We don't have a basketball court. Since we have some private donations to help cut the costs, it's not a bad idea.
Was there the pickleball courts, was there a purpose for that being at Memorial Park?
No, you could go with any.
My only hesitation behind that is that, I know it's a different community, but Sussex just put, what, 3 of them inside of their new revamped park.
Mhm.
I don't have the data to tell you whether it's gonna be long-term good investment or bad investment. I know they play a lot of pickleball inside, but the outside ones, I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
just another idea to bring something forward. The pickleball seems to be a growing sport, more so than actually, these courts are used more so than a tennis court is. Because they're smaller and you can have older people will do pickleball before they do
Yeah.
tennis. There's too much running, so it reduces that running. I know they put in, I think they put in 4 and they're putting in another 2. They're working on a placement right now. Sussex is putting, because the 4 are used very heavily, so they're looking.
Yeah, and they're dual purpose with basketball courts too, so.
Okay.
That's why they're heavily used. I guess I'll go online. I'm in favor of the match with the baseball diamond expansion. I'd like to see. There's an interest from the community. They're putting up their own money. I think it's a smart use of our money to match or exceed what they have going on. Because obviously that's a long-standing use for our community. I think we need to invest in some of the road infrastructure. So that we don't, in the 0 to 10 year period, I don't know what the interest rates are gonna look like for municipal borrowing. So I think we should devote some of that towards some of the roads that need attention. I agree with Becky, the capital items, I think we should leave towards capital talk time at the end of the year. I'm looking at like infrastructure projects. I know Becky, you said salt shed, is that you? Kathy, are we earmarked in capital projects for that?
We were supposed to do it this year, so we would have to add it for next year. So right now, we have it for this year to be done
The lumber
Add.
part.
at 495 with the 50,000 and the sinking fund. But since it's being pushed to next year, we're only doing whatever the bid's gonna come in at, because we have a bid going out. So we're doing the wood part this year, and then next year we do the build.
Do we
But
have
the
enough,
whole
can we
amount-
allocate enough money for the total amount?
We have not. We'd have to allocate 60,000. And we can allocate that in our capital budget next year for the rest of it. We have enough in our sinking fund for the wood and more, most of the build as well.
Yeah, I would be in favor of that salt shed, the piece, just to get it done this year. 'Cause I don't
Me too.
know what the cost of labor is gonna be next year. We're good on materials, we just need to have the construction done.
Right.
And then, I mean, obviously my biggest one is gonna be the employee across the board. I don't think we really had heard back from Parks on what the state of the equipment was yet. So I'm not inclined to say that we should move ahead with any of that. Apparatus or playground equipment replacement until we get that information back.
Okay. Paul or Linda?
I like the idea that I would like to include the turnout gear. I think we should do that. And I'm just concerned, what is equipment maintenance for Joe? Or not for,
It's a transmission in 2595.
mhm. I
I
mean- I mean, I could go for that too. I mean, this is where we can pick up some of those things. The salt shed, absolutely. Highway building doors, I know we replaced some before, but if that is doing the remaining, I have no problem doing that. Furnace replacement, the small item, but if theirs is bad, is it totally bad or needs repair?
It's a replacement.
Yeah, and I
I don't
guess,
think we have it here in.
and I wonder how old that furnace is. Probably-
$12,000 with air
Air.
as well.
Yeah, see, that's another thing that's a necessity. I have no problem with them.
Offices or for the whole?
I think it's for the building. I'm not sure if the air was supposed to be just for the office, but it's
Mm.
the heat for that building. They didn't give me too much information except for.
And the exterior doors too, I just think, some of these things don't go into capital because they're too small. The Memorial Park Playground, I'm in favor of. Pickleball, it is what it is. Maybe Sussex has the 4 ones over there. We have to think about that. I don't know. I'm in favor of the basketball court in Lisbon Oaks, the baseball diamond expansion, because they're gonna put the private funding in. The future Village Hall, I'm in favor of. We got to start putting some money away. And I'm just kind of with the scanning the property and the other town files. Seems like a lot of money, but I think it's a nice thing to do as well. So if we add up all of those, I'm not sure what it comes to.
I agree with your additions, because then if they include some of the fire things in there, then all the departments are getting some. benefit of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that it needs to be shared
Mhm,
between everybody.
mhm.
So what are you thinking, Paula, if you went down the
We'll
line?
Turnout gear for sure, and then I don't know the maintenance, the transmission, if we don't do it, is that going to?
I want to know that thing's had water in it for 9 years. I guess
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if that's, I don't know, I don't remember if it was a transfer case or the transmission, it had some water in it from the pump. There was, one of the seals wasn't holding, but. I'd be
Jody
curious to
is
know.
working with them, trying to get.
Okay.
They were just saying that it's a she was just saying it was a possibility, but they're working together to try to find a solution. So
So the biggest downside is the truck is inoperable then, right?
if it has no
If it really
transmission,
goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
me, it's, yeah.
Joe knows a lot about trucks, so.
And what else?
I don't know.
Oh,
Well, we're nowhere near 1.1 million. So, I mean, unless we do a bunch of roads, but
Have you had a Pacer scale report in a while?
it is updated, but I can get that to you. I mentioned that earlier that that was something that we can, I can get from Joe.
I seen it when it came. I mean, the roads are in pretty good overall shape, but
Yeah, I know there's some subdivision roads that are way far gone that we just been kind of waiting on.
Somebody had brought up the future village wall.
Mhm.
What would be a number we might want to know about?
we had talked
Okay, we-
50,000 at one time.
And we
I don't know
we
if
could-
that's cut in stone.
I mean, just to put a number in here, just for thinking about it.
Did we talk about 50,000?
I don't know. I mean, it's,
Yeah,
if you look at our debt service and everything, I mean, and how things, they're gonna be over the next so many years, I don't know that I would personally even put money into it at this point.
no,
we're
because
gonna
it'd
be
be
in-
more of a capital thing.
I agree with that.
And then it would be easier to borrow. Okay.
Okay, okay, cross that off too.
I mean, things have really, if you look at, I mean, really look at that debt service schedule and how things are gonna be over the next so many years when thinking about this too, because it all kind of plays in.
I do have a debt service schedule. for people. If you're interested. Look what I'm facing.
And what would be the benefit of the grass truck that the fire department?
Do not have,
Thank
are
you.
we missing one?
We need one more.
Yeah, one more.
I got it. We're good.
Your head is full of stuff.
That is. It's very important
2.0.
to keep you.
1.4, 1.4, 1.4, 1.4, and then it drops way off.
So at the last column on the spreadsheet gives us what the debt payments would be each year.
About 5 years. Yeah.
A lot.
But
Oh, wow.
So
so in 10 years we go way back up.
things to consider coming up though. Roads.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to probably buy into the sewage treatment plant for some more capacity at some point, because that's coming. TAC agreement with Menominee Falls, they're gonna wanna do some expansion over there. Which doesn't mean we need to buy land and interceptor capacity, but if the plant's going to be expanded and there's ideas of putting more sewer in different places in the town, that is the time to buy in right there. Also, I don't remember what the time frame is on the bug line interceptor, but we own a percentage of capacity in that. That's gonna be coming. Now, the land and,
I just sent that to Jeremy. He's just heading back that.
the land and interceptor is oversized. The pipe is big enough to handle ultimate build-out capacity. What it is not is the lift stations are not big enough to handle that ultimate capacity. They were built to build out capacity at this level, but not ultimate build out. So that's gonna be something to consider there. I did see that number you sent me about the interceptor. So those numbers were from the Leeds property, but there's also numbers over by the mobile home park that are different. So that's the one we gotta talk about. I just thought about that. I just wanna tell you that now. Town hall, roads, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. So it looks like it falls off a lot, but that can get right back up. If you think about the way the state legislature has set things up, we are encouraged to borrow. Borrowing does not affect, doesn't change, like we can only increase our levy by the percentage of growth in our community. Well, that doesn't apply to debt. We've kind of maintained our debt about, in fact, so for the last few years, our debt service went up. So we used some general fund to bring it back to keep it at a consistent number. If I were staying on the board, I would recommend keeping that at a consistent number because it doesn't affect people as much. You don't want these big ups and downs. That's what upsets people. They like the down, but then if it goes right back up again, they get upset.
Really
So-
upset.
If you can, if the borrowing can be set to keep that consistent over the years, that would be my preference, obviously, one vote on that, but that was always my thought on that.
We are gonna borrow this year. Because we'll be doing
That'll be in the TIF though.
that.
Yeah, so that won't,
But we will be back.
right. But I mean, just things to look into for the town hall and things. And when you're looking at this ARPA money and things, I do agree with Becky and Mark as far as, I think the capital items, the majority of them, I think we should address personally come around budget time. I do agree on the salt shed because that needs to get done. I agree on the baseball diamond. I think we should put money into that. I will say, if we're gonna do the baseball diamond, make the park nice, if the playground equipment is next, which we haven't done a study on that. I know it's been said needs to be all replaced, but I think I'd like to do something with the playground equipment. But again, I don't know that I'm in a position to say exactly what at this time. I think we need to stick some money in the roads. In fact, the plan that was put into place years ago, that was talked about anyway, I guess it really wasn't put into place, was when we did that $8 million borrow, we had Kunkel went together and said, if we put $650,000 aside every year, we increase it with CPI, we may never have to borrow again. We didn't do that. So now all of a sudden we're coming up here where we may have to borrow again. I'd like to put some money aside from this for that. I'd also like to consider potentially taking some of that money from our general fund that we saved over the last couple of years and putting that towards that to get that caught up. So that we may not have to borrow because it's looking like interest rates are going to be significantly high for at least the next year. And I think we have way more money in our general fund than we really should.
Now, how do we come up with 200,000 for the Memorial Park Playground?
We
Is
don't,
that-
we don't know
don't.
the number.
That's what we did for the, right,
Right.
that's what we did for Stone Town,
Mhm.
so it's. about the same amount.
Okay. And don't forget, the Stadlers are not, they'll put 2 benches there, but they will not do it unless
Then the 2 benches, $200,000.
it's only 10,000.
Buy a lot of benches for that.
It's, yeah, 5 or 10,000.
Yeah.
A lot of money if it's in front of you, but I just want to.
And I'm not necessarily saying playground equipment, I'm saying improvements.
Yeah, that's where I was just gonna go. I would be, I guess if we're prioritizing that 200,000 at the park, I go back to what John was saying is that we can bring the people to the park, but we can't keep them there for a long time because we don't have the facilities to let them use. I know we talked about 3 or 4 years ago about putting toilets up there. I mean, those pit toilets are at one point gonna be needing to be replaced. I guarantee we're probably not gonna be replacing with pit toilets. You know, so
Right.
was it John that went and got that bid for just a rough structure of toilets and?
Yes.
So yeah, just the toilets was just, it was really high. And that was before,
I thought I remember probably 30,000.
I think it was 180.
20, numbers,
Is
but-
that John Greiton?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I'd like to keep with his knowledge and I'm sure the new director would concur that we need facilities up there. We want people to use it, just one of each gender flush toilet would go a long way.
It's something we had talked about, this is during budgeting. My thought on that was if we're gonna just put toilets in for that amount of money, let's spend another 100,000 and put a building there that we can use. It just seems like a lot of money for a septic and you're putting a septic field in, I mean, a block building, all that stuff to do this. I'm like, let's build a building then and make it a usable feature up there. make our park more attractive up there. That could be, that might be a good use of some of this money then at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think of the cold days of standing at the Easter extravaganza, handing out candy in the wind, and there's nowhere to go up there.
Yeah.
If you got inclement weather.
Can be cold.
You know, I think a nice facility up there would go a long way.
Yeah.
I think it would bring more people to the park.
They could put a damper on some of these other things, but I think that. I
Yeah,
don't
but I
disagree
mean,
with you.
I guess thinking of the spirit of what this ARPA funds are for, I think a facility like that would definitely be in the spirit of what this ARPA funds are supposed to use for.
Sure.
Well, we don't have to commit to everything tonight because we have to the end of the year.
And actually,
Right. It's just good discussion to have.
Exactly. I think we all kind of agree it's the salt shed is
If
number
you
one.
want me to do some more research, that's what I'm.
Mhm.
So if you want me to look into something with stronger numbers on something, we'll take out all the things that nobody put their name behind. Well, that should take out a few things. That'll take out a few things.
Like the grass truck is a capital thing,
so
more.
only reason I didn't say anything about the turnout gear is we have that, obviously, we have the schedule for it. Is there a dire need to get that now for those?
I think we're doing, if we do 5 each year, I think that will keep us at doing 5 each year.
They weren't worn out because of the increased activity.
I thought we were on pretty good pace with that. On the turnout gear,
And how many do we actually need?
60 some, I think.
Wow. Okay.
So from fire,
I thought it was close to 60, but whether it's 50 or 60, it's up
are we
there.
looking at keeping the equipment maintenance in capital for the transmission or
No, we don't normally put it in capital.
operational?
It isn't operational. I don't know if you want to increase and do a budget and then to put it out. Right now, you know, the budget's the line item, but it's not a budget.
I mean, I think the departmental fiscal responsibility that the department has shown over the years, I think give us all about $10,000 per year. I don't think we would need that.
And we'll know that, we'll do that in November. If we're getting close.
Yeah.
Revisit.
But we can't, if we need to replace the transmission, we need to replace the transmission.
Right, but I mean, if we need to do a budget, they can do the
Mhm.
transmission, but then we can do a budget and if
Right.
needed, we're looking at the numbers and. calculating budget.
Do we just want to go down this list and?
Cross
What-
out.
We're keeping the grass truck in the capital expenditures. Okay.
Turn off here.
Capital. Equipment maintenance. Well, John Deere mower,
What did you say about the equipment maintenance?
We'll just go operational for this year.
All right, more.
I would say capital. for
Capital.
future issues.
yeah.
Salt shed.
I
No,
think
no.
we're all in favor of the 60 grand.
Yes,
Yeah.
now.
Highway building doors,
I would say 30.
Yeah, I agree.
road.
Bigger discussion later.
Okay, I'll get the.
Yeah, I was saying, I
base
mean-
rating.
Should we leave the roads in limbo until we get more information?
Yes.
So if I get the basic ratings, is there anything else you want me to gather? for the next meeting?
Well, here's information on the roads.
Yeah, it doesn't have any other rating, though.
Right.
This is kind of just,
We should have that discussion because it isn't like the state says you have to have a 6 or a 5 or a 4. We have to decide where we want to be with that. I mean, we could say we want to be at a 7 and
Mhm.
everything's got to be perfect, you know?
Mhm.
I guess I'd like to know where we're at as an average and,
yeah, like that one.
I'll bring our DPW
Yeah.
director in for the next.
Okay.
Okay, so, building doors, furnace replacement and exterior doors, all
capital.
that one. Memorial Park Playground,
Should we relabel that? Memorial Park infrastructure. So not to just say that.
You know that, Memorial Park is huge, so it's not community park. You
Right,
Yeah,
know that
so-
we were talking kind of like the community park, right?
Yeah.
right.
Good thing, community.
I'll send it to you. Thanks for that.
So do you want that to be community park?
Oh, we're not talking about here?
No, I was talking about community.
Oh, community.
We were talking about toilets and stuff.
But which one is it worse? I mean, is the community in bad shape?
How do you, equipment?
Yeah.
They're not gonna- he changed it to infrastructure, so it could be more toilets, building.
Oh, okay. Are we doing a community set?
Well, that's what I was,
Well, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have talked
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
It's not, and then we could rent it out, make some money, do that as a. Okay, so that's part of that. All right.
Pickleball courts, no?
no,
I mean,
What about the cost share, basketball?
I think we should do that.
You've got private money coming in,
do we know what the actual cost is?
about, you said about 32,000.
On our part? No, 15.
32,000 all in. Is what the family said.
Yeah, but since everything has gone up so high, how's that affected on that 32,000?
You know, closer, but if we, you know, if you guys decide to do the 50,000, then they have to finish the rest. by
Okay.
the donation.
I have no problem getting that
I'm
myself.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, basketball,
Baseball?
baseball,
I'm sorry, baseball. We're all good with that?
Mhm.
is that a match of 30 or is that? What's the total project cost?
We don't have a project cost. yet.
Maybe we should get that before.
I'm just trying to add.
Yeah, I thought it matched. Would have been 30.
Okay.
I guess one thing I'd like to know, I mean, they want that here.
Here.
I don't know personally, I mean, they're putting money towards it, so I get why they want to have it here, but if you want to draw people to a park, you got to have a nice facility. Well, our main park we want to draw people to is community park.
But you don't have the space for a big enough diamond. This diamond actually just fits in that little
Mhm.
space. They were
Don't we
thinking
though?
about they were thinking about the other.
I mean, what about that area where there's a baseball field now?
The Parks Department does not want to do, I mean, the Parks committee does not, they actually want to do something in writing that you guys can never feel.
Prairie is where again? Where is that?
Where they burn off.
But they, this is big enough, they were thinking of two smaller ones maybe at, those were their two spots at Stone Family. But, you know, we got maybe two smaller ones there, but this one will get in their high school.
I mean, this is huge. I don't know how they don't think we have enough, I know the residents in Oakwood aren't gonna
There's
like
not
it.
enough parking there. They like this one because of the parking.
I'm not saying we don't put one here, I'm just saying, if you're doing a,
There's also a diamond on the one off of Plainview Road right there. There's a diamond there in Plainview Parkway. Mhm.
Right, that's all family, right, and so they were thinking of doing two smaller ones. So then two. they would
There?
do The outfield at Stone Family or a full size,
They want the full size
and we don't have a full size. one. This would give us a
option.
full size high school. Kids could actually play,
Mhm.
select height. Games.
What did you think, Jeff?
You know,
community, I mean, it's,
In that?
we have a baseball diamond there. I'm not saying put it right there, but I mean, it's, there's all this area over here too.
was kind of there to- I don't know if it was them or. if it was-
I'm not, I know they want to put one here and I get that, but it just, so how much? Like, we need a nice baseball diamond, but I think we need a really nice baseball. If we want to bring people to events, you gotta have a nice baseball diamond there too. We're never gonna have big events here. It's just not gonna happen. It's too small.
For tournaments, you almost need like a session thing and a.
You need more than one baseball diamond for a tournament too. But we've been trying to draw people to this community park. Nobody knows it's there. The residents on Oakwood even joke like this is the best kept secret in the area.
private park.
That's where, but putting the shelter there would help draw some people, but at some point, or putting basketball courts or something over there too. I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but it could have impact how much I want to help with this one. Like if we had extra money, like if we knew this one was gonna be for baseball and everybody was all in on it. I mean, at some point, this is probably gonna be a rec center, I'm assuming. And that's when the bathrooms, concession bathroom would be open. I mean,
We talked about putting doors in the exterior so they can use that.
I don't even think you'd need to at that point.
Yeah. But when is that point here?
Well, when we build a village hall.
I know, it, and that's how long down the road.
No. I mean, legitimately, it should be built by 24. Money,
Kind of one of my things on this.
I mean, if I was looking at it, I'd say 24, it should be, everything should be bid out in 23 and built in 24. You're paying for it in 25.
Mhm.
But because
Right, so
So we have like,
nothing for the village hall.
Now, we're all in agreement for the baseball diamond expansion?
I don't know, 30
Yeah.
grand.
Okay, just want to verify. Okay, yes.
Not the scanning of the documents, but
I guess,
We don't have a scanner big enough to do
Mhm.
flats.
why 50 grand? That seems, how much would the scanner be? Can we buy a scanner for 10 grand? And I thought that's what Chris was gonna do. Obviously, she's not here now, but we have Jasmine.
This regular.
How often do you have that? I guess, I know we're going through a lot of builds now. You have to have it now.
But we have all of the things that were built out, flats and stuff that were on every subdivision. Right, yeah. We have all. If we scan them all, we'll have them all electronically, then everybody will have use of looking. Instead of them being right there.
How often do you have them, people come in just curious to see, I want to see this and I want to see that one?
I think you make it,
Get calls for them a couple times a week.
make it
Old ones?
searchable.
Oh,
They're looking for property lines, or they're looking for their homeowners association. Declaration.
Hmm.
Suddenly the owner of the subdivision wants to, he still has the homeowners association, he never let it go, and now he wants to start collecting money
oh my gosh.
after a couple of decades.
Can you tell us what subdivision that is? Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay,
But the big thing is the declaration would tell them what their rights are.
mhm.
Some of them didn't even know what's.
So the 50,000 is everything that you think you need.
That was my thought. I mean,
Have you priced it out?
we've got a big.
I'm in the process.
So we've got 50,000 no, and then employee performance, sounds like not a performance thing, and what about the salary study? Can we use our neighbors' salary study as this thing? I mean, there are a lot of salary study stuff.
So if we did a salary study this year, though, how good is it gonna be in a year?
We don't have a really big.
well, I think it would just give us a better idea of when we start new people, like, where are we starting from? Is this middle of the market for all municipal employees? Is this bottom of the market?
I agree with Kathy, check with Sussex maybe, or
Well,
check.
I think also, I know the town association. has that. And I'm sure the League of Municipalities has that information. I don't know.
is.
I'm not against the salary study. I'm just worried about with how much everything's going up this year.
Mhm.
Would it be obsolete before it's useful?
It's something else. Consultant.
True. I think it's something to be good. The problem is how do we fit in with Sussex? Their job duties are so different, and all these other communities are so different than what we do here. How does it really fit in? And I'm not saying our guys are worth less. I'm saying in some instances, they're probably worth a little more than some of these other.
But that's where a consultant would look at each person's position and say, oh, you're doing 0.75 of what you should be doing, or you're doing 1.5 of what you should be doing.
Having a personalized study done for us. Would that be, so I wonder if that would fit in with when we incorporate as far as. Because some things are gonna change with that too. Obviously, we're gonna be bringing sanitary district in-house at that point. That'd be changing a few things in-house here. Not really shouldn't change anything in fire. DPW, I guess, really wouldn't change either, so it'd just be here.
So I will look into a consultant and see. what they say. And then, the across board, 2%. Doesn't work if you like me to on that. Do you have anything to take that?
Where you at, Becky?
I go for it.
Paula,
I'm in favor of it.
No,
Mark?
Highly.
I am also in favor of it.
You want me to bring, just move forward on it and get the numbers, just get the retroactive numbers back to you guys? Is that just-
I'd like to know what they're gonna be with FICA and everything, total impact. But I think it's a good idea. Okay,
Or- thank you.
all right, good discussion.
Sign one.
Yeah, I was supposed to bring, Caesar back.
So we didn't assign-
Have Joe come in.
Joe's gonna come in next
You
meeting.
didn't assign a dollar amount.
Did not.
No,
Rough numbers were at 365. 380 without roads. If we're considering infrastructure, future infrastructure. One thing I wonder about that though is we have to allocate the funds to a certain project by the end of 2024.
So it's gotta go.
So it's gotta be some contract.
I don't wanna do roads early.
Like we just can't make a rainy day fund for infrastructure and say,
It's just if you look at those dollar amounts he's got coming up, they could
It's gotta be-
spend that real
it's gotta
quick.
be Spent by 26.
Mhm.
mhm.
But, I'll see what I can do about infrastructure. See if I can start kind of digging into that area. See what something like that. Bring that back and have some ideas. What you thinking of doing
So-
building the building?
Sure, yeah, the building, I mean, that could be a 500,000 to 600,000 real quick. Because you're gonna need parking and everything then too, increasing the parking lot over there. I mean, that money will go quick. I don't even think, I think years ago, we were talking 400,000. I think you're gonna be 600, 700 real quick,
Four.
building in the park.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be very quickly. Everything's doubled. The plaque for potentially for
Park?
John, when they said they're short $2,000, they're doing fundraising for that.
I don't believe so. I think that's just what they've got put aside so far, and the sign is extremely expensive.
I think we should help the park out.
Yeah, that was their number one. Take it out of their operating, doing the other sign, and then
Mike,
Mike, and then see if we can. If we need to in November, if we have to make an adjustment to the budget.
okay, they're looking for it now, or how are they?
They want to get it done sooner rather than later. They could still get it done and pay for it, just to pay out of their operating. And then his line item will sign would be over budget, but for the department budget. So the line that we want.
Who's who's paying, I mean, so the Parks Department is paying for the other portion of the sign now? Or is it the Parks Committee? That's what I don't understand.
Parks Committee is doing fundraising for
Mhm.
the sign.
Okay,
But what fundraising they've done does not cover. it. So they're
Okay.
short $2,000. So the $2,000 is what we were asking for. Right. What I understood.
so then they're looking to raise the funds to pay that back, or they just want the 2,000? I guess that's where
I
I'm,
think they were hoping that. Would step up, yeah. 2,000.
Yeah,
okay. Do we want that brought back and then, I mean, so what's the total cost of the sign, do we know?
Almost 5,000. They've raised about 2, now they've got another 2 to go. They have the, or I did mention.
In October?
Yeah, and so that might help with the cost of that sign as well.
Mhm.
I think they might give it.
Can we get it in before the festival season this year? That's in. I guess that's coming up real quick. Okay. I guess I'm just curious to know about the rest of that.
mhm.
Okay.
I think we should help them out. We're helping, the basketball stuff and
All right. So there's no closed session, so next item is adjournment.
make a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Linda, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're out at 8:07.
Another quick meeting. Holy cow. I guess so.